And the thing that I always like to point out to people is, first of all, lay a foundation for your ministry, and then also ask God what it is you're supposed to do with your time. And for me, my model was the tent making of Paul. I wanted to be in ministry, and yet I wanted to always be in business and support my ministry. I thought I'd be a teacher, which is about a 9-month job a year, but I knew I needed to supplement that, and so I was going to try to think of a way to be in business either during the summer or through the school year, and I had seen some good models of that, people who started businesses and been quite entrepreneurial. So that was my idea. I am a minister. In fact, I'm going to choose to do what people would call full-time ministry as a teacher, but I'm also going to be active in supporting this by being a tent maker. And to be a minister, that you heard some of my education, teacher certificates, seminary, I taught, and did some things like that. But on my business side, I had always tried different things, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But it finally led to actually having a business opportunity after teaching for 5 years, and I told people it was an offer I couldn't refuse. It was building a business in Chicago. My brother-in-law was building an options trading firm. He had started it by borrowing a suit, going into the bank, loaning $200,000 and starting an options trading firm. Options were new. They had been outlawed during the Depression because they were too complicated and they were just taking advantage of people. But now with the computers, they could actually keep track of options and options trading, so he opened it up. It was a growth industry. He was in on the ground floor, and he knew how to do it, and he knew how to do it well. And in the next 10 years, we built the largest options trading firm in the world, exchange-traded options. And it had about 700 employees. So I had a chance to build that company with him. And I thought I'd return to teaching after that, and then he came up with another company that was about ready to go out of business that needed some help. And so I spent the last 10 years working with Host Learning. But having done those two things, I also got a chance this past year to move back into what you call full-time Christian service and being head of a Christian school. So that's a little bit of my biography, and I'd be glad during our question and answer time to talk about everything from ministry, the youth, the things I did before I went into business, the things I did in business, and commodities trading. I was standing in the pit on Black Tuesday when the 20% of the value of the stock, the entire value of the stock market went down, and I was standing there trading stock, S&P 500 stock options. And it was one of the most scary days of my life. And I can talk about my time in that business, in HR. I was responsible for hiring all those people, managing all those people, training all those people, and running the business that we eventually sold to Nations Bank. Or we could talk about hosts, and I could talk about business in the education. I just got a phone call for someone that worked for us who's now going to be the vice president of Edison Schools. Edison Schools might be familiar to you as the organization that wants to run public schools as a business. Very interesting model. And then finally, we talk about Christian education and what I'm involved in now. But first I want to tell you 5 things. 5 things. 2 do's and then 3 don'ts. 2 do's and 3 don'ts. And they're really around this theme. Because I asked myself in knowing that I was going to be saying something to you tonight, what is the best advice I could give to college students so that their lives might have maximum meaning and impact for Christ? What could I tell you tonight that would, for a college student, have maximum, so that it would make a difference, so you could have maximum impact and meaning for Christ? So that's where I came up with these 5 things, and I just tried to come up with things that would give you lives with maximum meaning and impact for Christ. Well, 2 do's first. First do, take a risk early. Take a risk early. You're getting out of college. I talked to a bunch of how many seniors here? Okay, seniors are a little more drawn to these things than they're getting close. But if you're coming out of college, if you're thinking about what you're going to do out of college, I want to encourage you to take a risk. Take a risk. There's a safe option and a risky option. Give the risky option a real hard look. This is the time in your life you can take a risk. Go where no one else is going. Do something no one else is doing. I think about all the things I tried during my college and seminary days. I always remember I needed that business to support myself. I tried selling zip code directories door to door. I tried every bit of multi-level marketing. How many people have done any multi-level marketing? You signed up for any of those things? See some of the older guys here, we all did. I did it all. Amway, Mason Shoes, Franklin Life. I did credit card insurance. We were on the ground floor in credit card insurance. It was going to be the biggest thing going. 3 months later, they passed a law that you weren't liable for the misuse of your credit card. End of the industry. Watched a guy take down a tree and charge $300 for it. Thought I could make a fortune in tree removal. Did it for several years. House painting, employment agency. All these things were things to try. There were all these things were entrepreneurial opportunities. They gave me experiences. Hiring, firing, handling the books, trying things, learning things. They were all gaining experience. None of them worked at one level. Financially, none of them worked. However, it equipped me that when the right time and place, why did they ask me to take over HR? Well, I had done some of that. Why did they tell me to take over the company? Because I had done some. And so these risks, these opportunities that I had taken early on allowed me to take bigger and better steps later on. So I encourage you, if you have a chance to take a risk, to stretch your skills, abilities, take a job maybe it's a little bit bigger than you think you can tackle, try it. And I'll tell you why to go ahead and try it, because my second do is, no, actually, I'm going to say that one. My second do is, let's go another way, push another envelope. Do, push your limits educationally and in ministry. Okay? Push yourself educationally and in ministry. I talked to a bunch of seniors this afternoon, and they were all asking the question, do I go on for further learning? Do I go on and get another degree? And when in doubt, do. Get the degree now. I went on and I was doing youth work after college, so I said, hey, I might as well get a seminary degree. I got into teaching. I said, hey, I might as well get a doctorate in education. So both those degrees, for me, would almost be impossible at this life stage. Once I started having kids, once I had a spouse, once I was locked into financial commitments, you don't have the freedom to take those classes. You don't have the time to take those classes. But I made sure that I took those classes early. And that seminary degree, that doctorate, equips me to take, I had an offer to teach at Wheaton College. I have a friend in my church. She's a gifted teacher, has her master's in psychology. Her classes at the junior college are always full. Okay? Her classes at the junior college are always full. This fall, she had 3 full classes. All 3 full classes were taken away from her because a tenured full-time professor, nobody signed up for his classes. And because he had tenure and seniority, he had the right to take a part-time teacher's classes, and he took them. Now, why is he the full-time tenured teacher? What does he have that she doesn't have? A doctor. He's the doctor. He does the job. She doesn't. I said, why don't you go back and get your doctorate? She said, you don't understand. I can't. It's too late. I could have done it as a younger woman, but I can't do it anymore. So that is a conversation I had this fall. And I'm thinking, boy, I want to encourage you when you have the energy, you have the motivation, you have the drive to get that degree, that MBA, that law degree, whatever it is you think God might have equipped you to do or you're capable of getting, get it. And most of those MBAs are designed to do while you're working. So it's not like work or the degree, you do both. I got my seminary degree while I was running a youth group. I got my doctorate in education while I was teaching, and they're adopted for that. So I just challenge you to push your limits educationally. And same with ministry. If you have something that you're excited about in ministry, try it. Go for it. I had during my college years, it was my, I think sophomore, junior year, I traveled with the men's glee club from Wheaton College.